What's up, YouTube? My name is Abel. This is ANTV. I'm bringing you another video. Stay tuned. My name is Abel, and this is my second review on the Giant Defy, the Giant Defy 5. When I first did this review or made the review of the video, I'd only had it for about a week, and I know I put some mileage on it. But as my cycling has progressed now, I want to actually give it a more of a decent review because I put the time and the energy and the miles on this bike, and I would just like to give it an overall review of what this bike is about. Real quick, before I get into it, I'll show some pictures of it. But for Father's Day, my wife has gave me a gift for my bike. She actually bought me a bike bag, which is really cool. So I like having my bike bag on there. And then she bought me handlebar grip tape. So anyway, real quick. So this is the Giant Defy 5. I have not upgraded pedals, transmission, tires, or nothing, but I have made adjustments. I've adjusted the seat, and I have adjusted the handlebars. The shop manager helped me with the handlebars to make sure my wrists were more straight. And then the things that I've done to the bike to make it a road bike for cycling and riding is I put a light set. I got a Giant light set on there. So I got my front and rear lights on there, red and white, Giant brand lights. Not really made to see at night. They're just made for while you're riding during the day. You can be seen. So, and then my bike shop actually blessed me with a saddle, so which is really cool. I've been going to the same bike shop for the past few months, and I think they're starting to remember me. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much what's done to the bike, but I haven't messed with the tires. Are stock, pedals, all this stuff here is stock. The only thing I've done is just put accessories on it to make it a better bike for the road. This is really going to be an in-depth review on how it's handled and stuff. So if you got the time, hang out. If you don't got the time, then you're probably not going to want to hang out. The video is probably going to be very boring because I'm a bike nerd. I'm going to talk about biking. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background on my progression on the bike just to show you that I've been putting in the time and work on the bike. It's not like I just bought it, rode it for a week, and then been like, okay, I'm looking for a new bike to review. No, it's not even like that. It's just something that I want to go over. So this is my Defy 5 road bike. My longest ride on this bike has been 39 miles. So I did my first 39 mile ride yesterday. It took me 2.5 hours. So yeah, that's that ride. So 39 miles, longest I've gone on this bike. 2.5 miles. The longest I've sat on this bike. My riding time, I averaged 3 rides per week with the average of 70 miles per week. I've taken this bike out 19 times, and in that 19 times I put just under 400 miles on it. Earlier this morning I calculated all my miles, and I calculated all of them, and I'm pretty sure I'm just under 400 miles, but I came out with 395.25 miles. So I put in the miles on this bike. My average speed when I first started with a inexpensive Walmart bike, my average speed was only like 11 miles per hour or some change. So now my average speed on this bike is 16 miles per hour. My max speed on this bike is 29 miles per hour. So I've increased my average speed by 4.5 miles per hour on this bike. And then to take in accountability for increasing my average speed is rolling resistance. I try to ride over the smooth road. I live in the country. There's a lot of farms and stuff, so some of the asphalt and the road is broken. So I try to ride on the smoother parts of the road and stay safe at the same time for less rolling resistance. I keep both tires at 100 psi, and I'm even wearing cycling gear to help with aerodynamics. My helmet is aerodynamic, and my clothes are aerodynamic when I'm on the bike to help my average speed. So 16 miles per hour, yeah, I'm still a beginner, still very level entry. rider, but I gave you my progression just so you know I'm not playing around when it comes to my cycling, and that I've actually put work on the bike. When I got the Giant bike, the helm or the handlebars were actually more adjusted up. It was kind of funny because to me I thought it looked like a bull, like it had horns, you know. And the shop manager had saw how I was riding, and so he works for Trek. They work for Trek, and he said, "Hey, would you mind if I adjust your bike to make it a little bit more comfortable for you?" I said, "It's fine." So at Trek, what they do is they like their handlebars a little bit longer, so you can, you know, relax the wrist and hold the bike. So on this, we adjusted the bike to where I can actually hold it and ride it a little bit more aerodynamic, a little bit more comfortable. So that was one adjustment that I've done to the bike. So I like it. I like the handlebars. It's good. The saddle, so far, I was riding with the saddle tilted down, and that's not a good way to ride. So they upgraded the saddle for me, which was totally on them. It's pretty cool. But this has the saddle that comes with the bike has a hump over it right here, and it's very hard. And that part here actually was just tearing me up. So if you do have a bike like this level entry, I do recommend just spending a little extra money and getting the saddle that has a curve in it for those long rides, because this little dent right here in the saddle actually makes a really big difference on your area down there. And then I think when whoever had taped the bike the first time, they just didn't tape it too, maybe they're too rough or taped up the wires or whatever, but my bike didn't shift so smooth. But now the bike shifts very smooth. So after almost 400 miles, the bike, it's shifting still really well. And I remember I was complaining that this was a really loud bike. And honestly, when you're on the road and you hear wind and cars and stuff like that, it's not a big deal. It's really not. So I don't think that it's loud at all. I think the sound of the bike is totally fine. So yeah, I think the sound of the bike is totally fine. I like the weight of the bike. It's not very heavy at all. I'm still going with the same pedals. I cut off the straps and just kept the same pedals. Brakes are still working really good. The frame is, I know they say it's like a good frame, but it's like everything that touches the frame, it chips the frame. So I guess I really think that's for all bikes, because I even have a 2019 bike, and every time something touches the damn bike, it chips. So I just think that's something we can't avoid, is bikes chipping. But yeah, so after 400 miles, the bike is still solid. Fork is still solid. When I first had the bike and I used to ride, I used to think it was really, really smooth. If you're riding over brand new asphalt or a good road, it's very smooth. But man, you feel the big cracks in the road, like you really do. After an hour of being on the bike, when you're getting it in, you feel everything. So on this bike, it's not very smooth in my opinion. I think it's very I know it's it's not a suspension bike, but it's very you feel everything on the bike. You really do. That's just, you're on the road. If it's brand new asphalt, it's nice and smooth. It's a great bike. But once you start getting on that cracked road or going over train tracks, or you can feel the bumps in the on the road. I mean, you feel all that. So I can't say that it's a smooth bike anymore, because when you get to the rough parts of the road, it hurts. So, but I mean, it still rides pretty good. In the future, if I would change anything about the bike, I would like to just change the tires. But my tires are still good, so I've kept the stock Giant tires on there. And one of the bike shop guys said that this style of tire is good for Arizona. It gets hot out here. So he said it's very good for Arizona. So that's another reason why I'm not thinking about changing them. But yeah, so if I'd upgrade anything on the bike, it'd be the tires. It shifts a lot better now since I got the handlebars taped. Shifts great, not noisy at all, and it's a very comfortable bike. Even with this saddle, my idea, the reason why I had it tilted like that was I was trying to make make it feel like a noseless saddle, so that way I could sit on this part and not that part, and it worked for a while. But the manager saw what I was doing, and I think he knew I needed a new saddle, so yeah, he hooked it up. So that's awesome. But still, even riding with the saddle like this, I was riding an hour, hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, and my back didn't hurt at all. My butt didn't hurt at all. I felt really good. So the bike is really, it's comfortable. Now that it's adjusted this way, I have to go back into the store, and we're going to use that machine where they measure your bend and everything, and I'm going to get that bended because I feel that my knees were hurting yesterday after the ride, and I don't know if that's normal, because normally after a long ride my body doesn't hurt at all and I feel totally fine, but yesterday my knees were a little achy, so the shop manager told me come back in, they'll use the machine and they'll get me precise the seat dialed into my legs. So I don't know what it's called, it's a long name, don't know what it's called, but that's what I'll get into. So that's that. So here's the Giant Defy 5 with the giant lights on, new handlebar tape and tires. Just showing this one last time so you can see the bike. And if you put a bike bag and accessories on your bike, it really transforms the look of your bike. So yesterday at the bike shop, I was checking out the $2,000, $3,000 bikes that have the one crank system, all black handlebars and bike bags and accessories and all that, and buy your bike and then take your time to build it all, and your bike's going to come out great. So when I first got this bike, all I could afford to do to it was put on my water cage holders, bottle cage holders. That's it. The lights came, the saddle came, the bike bag came. So just give it time. And now honestly, I really like this bike. It does have a little wear and tear up here at this part right here. There's a little wear and tear right here, but I didn't do that. That came from the first owner, because I bought this bike used. So that came from the first guy, but and then like you can see the frame there has a little bit, I don't know what it is. I don't think it's rust, but it could be rust. I'm not sure. So I don't really want to invest any more money into the bike. But you know, you do need a bike bag, you do need lights, so that's just stuff you need. But I'm really happy with this bike, and if I come across some extra money, yes, I'm gonna upgrade to a Trek road bike if I can. But if not, I'm totally happy with this bike. I like riding this bike. I get excited in the morning to look at it. When I come in from work and I see my bike, I'm like, yes, I want to hit that thing, let's do it. So just takes time. So it took me time to get the bike built up the way it was. I never thought it could look this good. Yesterday we left the shop and my wife was like, babe, this bike looks like a totally brand new bike. So, you know, the comfort of the level after sitting on it for over an hour, hour and a half, 2.5 hours, and you're still able to walk and stuff, you're like, you know, that's fine. I ride my bike, 20 miles in the morning, and then I go put in a 10-hour shift, and you know, I'm not all achy or back's not hurting or anything. So the geometry of the bike is really comfortable. It's really made for endurance. Brakes are great. And so anyway, my name is Abel. This is ANTV, finishing my cup of coffee. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.